Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 2 Episode 14 review video titled Tipping Point. We, of course, are going to go ahead and hop right on into it. Of course, it should go without saying that yes, there are spoilers ahead here for The Bad Batch Season 2 Episode 14, so if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it. It's pretty amazing. In this video, we're going to be covering different things that you might have missed throughout this episode, as well as just my in-general review with thoughts and opinions and some theories here and there sprinkled throughout the video, so stay tuned for those. In this video, we're going to be taking a read from Fansided Dork Side of the Force. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well as a read. As the series continues toward the finale, we finally get some confirmation about what Echo and Rex have been up to while they have been away from the rest of the Bad Batch. It seems like the small group of clones has been using some hit-and-run tactics to free clone prisoners from Gonzati cruisers in a scene that seems very familiar to what of Star Wars Rebels. As the name clearly points out, it is time to decide between staying safe on Pabu to protect Omega or risking it all for the currently unknown quantity that is Crosshair. As we did see towards the end of the episode, the big reveal is that Crosshair is trying to reach back out to the Bad Batch to hopefully warn them that the Empire are after not just them, but specifically Omega. However, as the episode starts out with Echo, Rex, and Gregor, the first of the rebellion, the episode started out with a scene that could have simply switched characters and been on Star Wars Rebels at that, but in a way that stayed true to the clones. We also got the answer to Gregor's whereabouts after his brief appearance in Season 1 of The Bad Batch. Of the clones that will eventually join the rebellion, we still haven't seen Commander Wolf, but we are sure to see him eventually in this season or in the next. And hopefully we will also get to see what happened to Commander Cody as well, as it would make sense that he is working with Rex to try and save other clones at some point. Seeing that last that we heard about Commander Cody with and after his mission with Crosshair towards the beginning and the start of the season, episode 3, towards the end of that episode we hear that Commander Cody actually goes AWOL and leaves and sneaks away from the Empire. And so when looking at the bigger picture, fans probably ought to be worried about Senator Chuchi's support of the clones. She is ominously missing from the later works, and as far as we know, never formally really joins the rebellion. It is likely that her support for the clones will cut her tenure short as senator, but it is gratifying to see someone fighting for the clones consistently. It appears as if Senator Chuchi is the primary funding for the clones at the moment, but as Andor demonstrated, that can only go so far. So whether or not Senator Chuchi leaves, the Imperial Senate, or is assassinated, or maybe she does have the potential to join the rebellion at some point, and maybe just doesn't play as much of a prominent role compared to Senator Mon Mothma. Crosshair, as we had also seen in the previous couple of episodes of The Bad Batch Season 2, has his loyalties reassessed. After Crosshair's assassination of his commanding officer that allowed Mayday to die, it was clear that he no longer supported what the Empire was. But no longer supporting the Empire is a long way from actively being tortured for information for a group that you were hunting down not that long ago, and even were a part of. That there, of course, being his brothers, Clone Force 99, The Bad Batch. Nevertheless, Crosshair is taking some of the most brutal interrogation scenes we've ever seen in Star Wars, against a villain who is diabolical enough to create a toxin that only he is immune to. In this role, Dr. Hemlock is an excellent juxtaposition to the cold detachment of what Crosshair once was. And even then, it seems that not only is Crosshair willing to take immeasurable pain for the Bad Batch, his brothers, he is also willing to warn them about what Plan 88 is, even though he knew that he couldn't escape. While the Bad Batch is understandably wary, it seems as if Crosshair is back on the light path and wanting to maybe rejoin them in the future. The only question is whether will he survive long enough to rejoin the squad and even then escape from the Imperials. Now, this here overall episode is an easy 10 out of 10 for me, and a lot of the episodes that include Crosshair, actually all of the episodes that have included Crosshair this whole entirety of the season, are easy 10 out of 10s for me. However, the centric episodes that focus on Crosshair never actually seem to feature the rest of the Bad Batch. It's something that I've kind of off and on have called what is the Boba Fett effect here on the channel, as into the sense of what we saw in the Book of Boba Fett. Some of the best episodes of that show didn't even include our main character, Boba Fett, and instead rather focused on Luke Skywalker, Grogu, Ahsoka, and Mando. And yes, arguably, of course, Crosshair is still, a part of the Bad Batch, but he isn't necessarily the main group of what the Bad Batch Batch once was. And so to have these centric episodes that are, you know, specifically about Crosshair, and that they never actually show the rest of the Bad Batch in those episodes being some of the best episodes, this episode, the newest one here, episode 14 that we're talking about, I think really did the best job with diversifying a lot of that, with of course having a lot of Crosshair in this episode and having him as a centric point, but also having the rest of the Bad Batch on Pabu and them getting the transmission and everything like that, and then also finally giving us an update on what exactly Echo and Captain Rex and the rest of those clones have been doing. We also got to see Captain Hauser, that was also from the first season of the Bad Batch as well, which was really cool. Of course, I'm really hoping to see more with this like clone rebellion that we have going on. That has been a long-standing theory for the last like 2+ years at this point, ever since the Bad Batch season 1, even like since like the Clone Wars season 7. I feel like it's something that's been talked about off and on in the Star Wars community, Star Wars fandom. Having a clone rebellion is something I also believe to be from Star Wars Legends, although I could be wrong about that. And having just an overall uprising of the clones and fighting against the Empire is something that I think a lot of Star Wars fans would love to see in the future of the Bad Batch, and it's something that they have the potential to do, and it's something I feel like they've even set up here and there for this overall season and the previous season there as well. However, seeing that we only have 2 episodes left of season 2 of the Bad Batch already, it feels honestly, in my thoughts and opinions, way too rushed, way too close for them to do like a big climatic type of overall clone rebellion. It's something I'd rather see and wait for them to hold off in either a season 3 of the Bad Batch or even like the end of the shows. And I'm hoping that the show can go for quite some time, even longer than Star Wars: The Clone Wars, 8 seasons, 9 seasons. There's a lot of ground for them to cover and a lot of different characters that they've mixed into the mingle here that they can have centric episodes upon. Overall, what I would say that this overall episode has done for us is that it's served its purpose, is what I would say, and the fact that it set up things for the finale episodes of season 2 of the season for the Bad Batch. Now, I also believe that the last 2 episodes are going to both be coming out on next week on the same day together. They're not going to be a week apart or anything like that. They're going to be releasing on the same day. So in a way, this episode did a lot of great stuff for setting up for those finale episodes of season 2. And while it happened quite a bit throughout season 1 of this show, I think that they'll do it as kind of like the big climatic thing for this season, is that we'll actually have Crosshair like come face to face with the rest of the Bad Batch, and he may even have that opportunity to rejoin them, which I really think that's something I think that they really could do. And from there, with the rest of the seasons of the Bad Batch, and as I had mentioned, is something I hope that kind of goes on for quite some time, is that they could really overall build up a clone rebellion. And like we've learned in the Andor show and also in Star Wars Rebels, the animated show, is that the way that the rebellion kind of worked isn't exactly what we saw in the original Star Wars trilogy, in A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. And instead, before those movies, before the greater rebellion at that, is that there were these minor little pockets here and there throughout the galaxy of these little rebellion groups, essentially. We had Saw Gerreras, we had Luthans in the Andor show, and there's so many of those, and I think a clone one that would be centric to what the clones are is something that we could and should have in the Bad Batch. Overall, final thoughts as the article finishes out. This episode was excellent, crafted with a load of different Easter eggs and plot progression as well, with a solid pace that kept readers engaged. And from the return of both Gregor and Hauser, as well as a few new clones from various units that we haven't had seen in quite some time since the Clone Wars animated show, this episode answered quite a few background questions people were likely to have. Beyond answering questions, it gives one of the primary villains a salvation arc that they're being for Crosshair, and is something I think that we'll see in next week's finale episodes, all while introducing one of the most disturbing villains that we have seen so far in Star Wars animation. While some of the new episodes in the middle of the season may have been slow, the last half of the season 2 has been ramping up with a storyline that is fantastic in every way, and I can't wait to see more. Now from there, that is where the article concludes, and as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have this article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. What a great episode of The Bad Batch. I can't wait for more, and I can't wait for the finale. Fingers crossed, I'm really hoping that they announce the season 3 sooner than later, hopefully at Star Wars Celebration. That's something that we could see that's happening next month in April, so who knows. Anyway, of course, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.